I was in college, and it was a 3-day weekend, and everybody was heading off campus, right? I wanted to go too. My roommate never left. He was a loser. He never left the room. So I'm like, you know what? I want to get out of here too. So I called my sister, and I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about jumping on the road and coming on down. And she's like, oh, well, we were about to head out and maybe come back like way later, like 2 a.m. or something like that. But if you're coming down, then we'll wait. And I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, like I never get time to myself. Like I would love to just sit down in front of the TV in my underwear and watch movies, eating Raisinets. Like I would love to do that. That's all I want. And she's like, hello, are you coming? And I'm like, me? No. I'm gonna be at university reading Shakespeare. I'm a terrible liar. I give a lot of details when I'm lying. So she's like, all right, well, bye. And I'm like, okay, cool, bye. Boom, I hop on the road, drive down, only make one stop, Raisinets, back in the car, head on home. I pull up, no cars are there, so this is a great sign. I'm like, yes. I walk in, drop my bags, lock the bottom lock, lock the top lock, put the chain on. I don't want no surprises. I need my privacy. And then I hear a noise, and I'm like, hello? And then the noise gets louder, kind of coming from around the corner, and I'm like, hello, Rachel? And what comes around the corner is not Rachel. Instead, it is the biggest, most ferocious looking pit bull I have ever seen in my life. I'm saying this thing, its muscles had muscles. Its head was like this big. Think of the scariest dog you can think of, and that dog crosses the street when it sees this dog. I mean, it was a monster. And so I'm looking at it, and I'm like, oh my God, and it's looking at me like, so here we are. And I'm like, okay, the privacy measures that I just took have now become my prison. And I turn slowly to try to unlock the door, and it goes, basically saying, no, you made your bed, and now you must lie. So I'm like, okay, shit. I mean, I wouldn't have had time to undo the top lock, bottom lock, and the chain and pull the door. It would have mauled my back. So I'm like, okay, I need a plan B, right? So in this house, in my sister's house, the kitchen was right here. So kitchen, right? Bunch of things that I can use as a weapon. So I'm thinking, okay, I gotta maybe try to grab something. But remember, it was my sister's place. I didn't know where shit was. What if I reached for a drawer and it was full of spatulas or something? Like, unless I was gonna flip the dog to death, this was not a good plan. So I'm like, damn it, I can't do this. But I know I'm running out of time. He's getting impatient. He wants death. He wants it now. So also there was a microwave right here, and on top of the microwave was a rope. I understand, not an ideal, weapon choice, but it's better than nothing. Plus, I was thinking maybe I could take the rope and like do this thing and, you know what I mean? Like maybe control it with I don't know. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a dash for it. I know it's gonna come when I reach. And I reach for it, and sure enough, as soon as I reach for the rope, he starts coming. I'm fumbling around, I grab it, and I finally go like this, and he stops. And he sits and dips his head down real submissively. And I'm like, yeah. I'm feeling myself now. I'm like, that's what I thought you should have done. And then he's just sitting there. I'm confused. And then he gets up and comes a little closer and sits again and kind of dips his head down. And I'm looking at him, I'm looking at the rope, looking at him, and I'm like, is this your leash? And so I very carefully put the edge of the rope onto the collar, and I take him for a walk. And you should have seen me. I'm walking around like I got the baddest dog in town. What can you tell me? I'm walking him around. We're getting familiar with each other, and some kids came up and they're like, oh my God, look at the size of that dog. Like, can we pet him? Will he bite us? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what he'll do. And they're like, well, what's his name? And I'm like, name, Kitch. Short for kitchen, where he almost killed me. So I named him Kitch. I'm taking him all around, and we're playing games. He already knew all the tricks. He knew how to sit, knew how to lay, give me paw. That whole thing. I am falling in love with Kitch. We became best friends that day. So I go back in the house and I call my sister, and I'm like, yo, what's the deal with this dog? And she's like, what are you doing home? I thought thought you said you weren't coming. I'm like, see, there you go, you're changing the subject. That's how you are. And so here's the story. So it turns out Kitch's real name was Hammer, right? And in Prince George's County, Maryland at the time, pit bulls were banned. So if you were caught with one, they would take it and they would put it to sleep. So they were moving Hammer, I'm gonna call him Kitch, they were moving Kitch around from place to place to keep him away from the police. He was like a fugitive, right? And because of how big he was, his genetics, any puppy in Kitch's bloodline would get like triple the amount of a regular pit bull. So he was evading the police, he was making a ton of money and having a ton of sex, so he was basically a fucking rapper. You know what I'm saying? So the whole weekend I'm with Kitch and we're best friends. I couldn't get a glass of water without Kitch following me. I mean, this was my guy. And growing up, I never had a dog. My mother never let me have one, so I didn't know the joy of dog ownership, but I did for that weekend. And I remember when it was time for me to go back to school, it was tough. Like, I was really sad. I had to go, and he had to keep, going on his life as a fugitive. And so that was actually, when I left, that was the last I had ever seen of Kitch. But until this day, anytime I see a pit bull with that golden color, it always makes me smile, and I'm like, I knew your daddy. He was a good dog, and we were friends. And it wouldn't have happened if it weren't for that white lie.